The following video is an opinion-based piece created for entertainment purposes only. This content is not intended to defame, discredit, or harm Gymshark. While I've seen various videos which have adequately introduced some of the issues surrounding the $1.4 billion fitness apparel company, Gymshark, I believe there is more that needs to be said. While this video will certainly have a negative undertone, I'll also be creating a follow-up video in the future with my usual structure, in which I'll try my best to narrate the entire journey of the company. This will hopefully mitigate bias. I will also note that I have indeed purchased some of Gymshark's clothing, and I agree that the quality is undoubtably solid. However, this does not excuse them from criticism. Even though their clothing is good, Gymshark's response to criticism has been mixed. Some prior arguments include an overfixation on body positivity after they were seen to have an underfixation of body positivity prior. Additionally, a couple of rogue employees made some grotesque comments about the police during trying times, to say the least. Whilst these and various other issues have been raised by numerous individuals, I'll focus on 3 pillars of criticism. I believe that if Gymshark successfully addresses these issues, their social standing will be improved, as their consumers will not only have a positive opinion of their garment quality, as previously mentioned, but also their brand image. This is because their brand image would then be built upon a foundation of transparency, honesty, and integrity. The first issue I'd like to raise is that Gymshark, despite becoming very body positive towards females, continue to push unachievable body standards on young men. This is mainly done through 2 methods, which are inherently linked. First, they primarily and sometimes seemingly solely employ male fitness influencers with naturally unachievable physiques. This opinion has been echoed by Isaac Butterfield.
They sponsor hundreds upon hundreds of influencers from all over the globe, and as you can imagine, that makes them painful.
Josh Brett.
Nicest possible way, fake naturals are like weeds. Yeah, having 1 or 2 may look good, and isn't enough to cause widespread harm, but when they're everywhere you look, it's an issue.
Philions.
You guys guess what I'm gonna say about this one? Another man on Woo! Yes! I love looking at muscly men on and whose physiques I will never get because I don't take Yes!
Scott Herman.
So you can only blame yourselves if you fall for it, and that's the number one reason why I decided I never wanted to be a Gymshark athlete, because if you look at 99% of them, male or female, they're 100% fake, and I hate it, and it's not hurting me. That's what you guys don't understand. It's not hurting me, it's hurting you.
And True Geordie, to name but a few.
The men on your Instagram page are still of that ilk of unattainable, almost.
This is particularly damaging to young people whom, let's be honest, are the main individuals consuming these influencers' content. This leads to said young people absorbing poor fitness advice from underqualified athletes.
So over the last couple of years, I went to Gymshark a few times about something that was really bothering me, and that's that I was getting so many DMs and emails of people who'd been put on really low calorie diets by other Gymshark sponsored athletes, being told things that weren't scientifically backed by other Gymshark sponsored athletes. And they were just being told things that just went completely against the literature in sports science and in nutrition, and that could be really damaging to their health. And that really bothered me.
This is because they are force-fed these influencers' body transformations with the addition of something akin to natural aesthetics in their video title or bio.
I didn't cheat myself. I worked out every day, didn't skip a day.
So yeah, just over 3 years ago now, I took a SARM.
Such viewpoints do not only affect young people either. Men are just as prone to body dysmorphia as are females and adolescents. These physiques are, of course, not achievable naturally, which those same young people may come to realize. Say, for example, someone viewed, or I don't know, David Lade, aka Gymshark Creative Director's viral body transformation, which was achieved naturally in 4 years. This video has been viewed 54 million times, presumably mostly by teenagers. Even if this body was achieved naturally, devil's advocate, in my opinion, it's extremely unlikely that Lade stayed natural throughout his long career on YouTube. After training for some time, said young people may come to realize that these body standards are of course not realistic, subsequently increasing the likelihood from suffering from body dysmorphia and potentially maybe even a rash decision to enhance. all while stumbling across David answering the natty or not question like this.
Yes, I'm very, very natural.
Okay, that's an extremely intriguing answer.
Whilst Gymshark has successfully and perhaps even forcibly changed their focus towards body positivity for women, they continue to employ these male influencers with widely unachievable physiques. Lade has himself stated that he wanted to redirect the company in order to refocus on these roots in his announcement that he would be accepting this creative role within Gymshark.
What I essentially want to tell you guys is that I'm formally no longer a Gymshark athlete. I'm a Gymshark creative director. As many of you have probably seen and feel that over the past few years, Gymshark has strayed or gone away slightly from their original roots of what they were as a company. But in order for a brand to become as massive as Gymshark has, there's going to be mistakes that are made along the way. That's just par for the course. It's just an inevitable aspect of growing a business. But we've come to a realization with just how much we've lost touch with the roots of the brand and the heart of where everything started, which is why now me partnering up and being direct business partners with Ben Francis, it's going to be my job to oversee and make sure that Gymshark really connects back with their roots and never lets go of that.
It seems that Gymshark continues to ignore this opinion of unattainable physiques in the hopes that the voices will eventually subside. If this occurs, it will be to the detriment of the health of their consumers and to the fitness industry as a whole. If a Gymshark athlete decides that they want to break the shackles of their guilt in being a fake natty and admit their PED use, this may well be to their detriment. There seems to be a correlation between Gymshark athletes coming clean about their PED use and them being subsequently released from the company. There'll be more on this one later, but this leads to athletes being silenced. Now, I have a fair bit to say about this one, but I'll be as succinct as possible. There seems to be an almost romanticization around transparency with regards to PED usage in current times.
But they're sick and tired of seeing people like me grab their nuts and decide to shrink the out of them. Stab Dirk and now I'm a schmirk. If we all stay natty, we can all stay small losers.
It wasn't too long ago that people like Lee Priest, Rich Piana, and Seth Feroce used to be the controversial exception to the rule. It seems that everyone now in the industry feels comfortable sharing their own experiences, sometimes in great detail. If I had to compare it to anything, it seems akin to how a person would describe their last poop to one of their best friends. While it is my belief that honesty is always the best policy, I will admit when underage children are a good portion of the individuals consuming this content, and therefore being exposed to the use of illicit substances, this does create a grey area, to put it lightly.
Hey Gymshark, stop promoting people on so you can make more money. The people, thanks.
I cannot make this next point without coming across a little brash, so I'm just going to make it. When the athletes you employ as marketers for your products are clearly on PEDs and they subsequently admit this to their audience, they should not be fired for this, as you, the employer, have a brain in your head and should plainly see that they are in fact on the sizzle. Even if you aren't privy to this information firsthand before signing them, just like your audience is able to, you should be able to tell that they are indeed enhanced just by looking at them. When your athletes have seen a few different examples in which another Gymshark athlete has been fired for admitting to PEDs, this will effectively silence them, crippling their ability to build their own brand image of transparency, honesty, and integrity. If someone as low IQ as myself can pick up on these possible correlations, surely the leaders of your company understand that millions more are likely to make such a hypothesis, right?
Natty or not?
Natty
Are you still natural?
Me?
Yeah.
You can drug test me if you like.
Ooh, good answer. Good answer. No SARMs or anything ever?
Nope.
For hormones?
No. Hormones. Scary.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just move on. I'm aware of two athletes who were seemingly fired for disclosing their use of PEDs to their audience. These included the first, Ryan Casey. Ryan came clean about his SARM usage, which he stated in a response video to Philion's Natty or Not video. He was told inside of a week that his contract with Gymshark was not going to be renewed, and he was subsequently released from the company.
So they called me up last Wednesday, and I don't know, I was like half asleep. And I woke up and I like got right on the call, and they were like, all right, so we've been talking back and forth, and we've decided to, you know, not renew your contract. I was like half asleep. I was like, oh, okay, all right. And they were like, you know, I'm sure you're not surprised. I was like, no, I'm not. And yeah, they're like, I'm sure you're not surprised. I was like, oh no, I'm not. And then the call ended. I was like, all right, bye. And then literally 10 minutes later, I'm like, what just happened? I gotta call him back. Called him back, asked for some feedback.
However, there were other contributing factors, such as his lack of posting and poor communication with his contact at Gymshark.
So they started with, obviously, you guys have seen, I've gone off YouTube for like 3 months at a time, right? So posting. So obviously when you sign a contract, you have posting requirements. So I wasn't meeting those requirements. That was one thing. Second thing, communication. So they said I wasn't very good communicating to my main contact at Gymshark, which is true. There were a lot of times where they'd be like, hey, can you do this, or can you do that, or hey, how's it going? And I wouldn't respond to them for like a few days or a week, or I just literally wouldn't respond to them at all.
But given that he was fired within a week of that video being released, it's not hard to conclude that his admittance was a contributing factor. The second athlete on the chopping board was James English. James told his audience that he'd been fired from Gymshark in a video published on November 15th, 2020.
Gymshark dropped me. I didn't go to Gymshark and say that I didn't want to be with them anymore. They dropped me.
Interestingly, just like with Ryan Casey, this occurred shortly after admitting his own PED usage, despite asking the company for permission to do so.
As for the gear, because a lot of people were wondering like, oh, James came out about gear and they dropped him because of that.
Again, to be completely fair to Gymshark, English does state that there were other contributing factors, and these may well have come into play.
Now that I'm not with Gymshark, I can still tell you that gear was not the deciding factor, because in the end they did let me talk about gear. It's probably also just like, it's not specifically the gear, because I was open about gear. It's not specifically the politics. It's not specifically that I'm living with Sush, who's like, you know, against mainstream companies. It's not specifically any of these one things. I just think it was a coagulation of all those things.
Yet, once again, the timing is hard to ignore. And here's my point. Gymshark cannot have their cake and eat it too. If they want to promote unattainable bodies by employing fake natties, they should not feel the need to fire them for eventually coming clean. This, like their marketing strategies, is inherently disingenuous. As far as I'm aware, Gymshark have only allowed 3 athletes to publicly disclose their PED use, being Chris Bumstead, a 6-time Mr. Classic Olympia, Dylan McKenna, an IFBB pro, and the guy that deadlifted 655 pounds in a Smurf outfit, and James English, as stated previously. Steve Cook has also hinted at a past PED usage in this video posted to his Instagram story.
I'm gonna do this because right now in my life, you know, I'm getting tested for that anyways in terms of what my testosterone is. So I can't say lifetime, but
and admitted to being a client of a TRT clinic in this YouTube video.
Gotta hit the reset button. I can't do this. I need help. Looking at it might be something that I have to jump on TRT, maybe beyond that for life. We'll see here.
By showcasing only these ultra fit athletes, they might be contributing to the false narrative that these bodies can be achieved naturally by everyone, which isn't the case for the majority of people, given that they are in fact natural. Again, this shady marketing technique of using potentially juiced up fake natties is not new to the fitness industry. The same strategy has been used in the $26 billion global supplement industry for as long as PEDs have existed.
Protein.
Consumers must therefore possess the ability to spot the bull. So what's the main takeaway here? While Gymshark has undeniably inspired millions to pursue their fitness goals, they've also faced backlash for promoting what many see as unattainable body standards. The admitting PEDs / you're controversy only adds fuel to this fire. It's a delicate balance for any brand, promoting healthy lifestyles while avoiding the pitfalls of body image issues and dishonesty. As noted previously, however, these waters get murky when said consumers are potentially teenagers, and who therefore do not have the knowledge and experience to draw these conclusions themselves. And you certainly don't want it to be murky when there are sharks in the water.